Welcome to the Between the Fur podcast, the show that allows professional mascot performers from the NBA and other pro sports to share their bizarre, funny and inspirational stories and give exclusive insight on what it's like behind the scenes and between the fur. Hosted by award-winning NBA mascot performer, Kenn Solomon.
Welcome back to Between the Fur. It is a great pleasure to have our guest today is Austin Fritts.
Man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And he's an influencer. So this is the first influencer on the show.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to this.
Do it.
Yeah, so he's an influencer. Let me tell you a little bit. He dunks. And so that's kind of the connection here, and has dunked at NBA games and is part of the entertainment. But I thought it was interesting. His story is interesting, and for those that are trying to do what he's doing right now, because there's so many out there that want to be an influencer, that's a big old dream and everything, but they can't follow through with it, or they get discouraged, stop, and just never get to the point where they're really rolling with it. And that's really discouraging. Such is life, Right. Hey, if you want goals, if you want to reach goals, most of the time, if it's worth it, it's worth working for, right? Yep. And putting in the time and the effort. So he has got 670 followers right now, 3 billion views over the last 3 years. Crazy. And as we go through here, you'll hear some just crazy things that have happened to him, and the people that he's met, the opportunities he's had just in the last little while here. It's just really exploded for you, and I'm so excited for you. We met, before we get into this, a little bit more intro, we met through a good friend of mine, Bill Hanslick, who owns and operates Gold Crown Foundation here in Lakewood, Colorado.
Yep. Former
player. He's got this huge facility out there. And I was talking to him one day, and I said, man, we were doing something, we were talking about a dunk team.
Dunk team, yep.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, man, do you know anybody we could get on this dunk team? And he goes, man, you got to talk to my boy Austin.
Yep.
Yeah. He goes,
when you called me, you were like, hey, I'm putting together a dunk team, and I would love to have you on it. And you're like, you jump off tramps? And I was like, no tramps, never done that before. You're like, oh, whoa, like I know what Bill was telling me about it, but that's not what I expected. And yeah, it was a good phone call that you called me up there, and we talked about it.
Yeah, it was interesting. He and I were on two different wavelengths there. I'm like, yeah, okay, so dunking in my world is off a trampoline.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
I'm 5'6", nothing, so.
Hey, he's jumped way higher than me when it comes to dunking.
So I'm thinking, man, I need the assistance of a trampoline. Hey, before we get too much further into this, let's take a little break here. I got to throw some stuff in as far as sponsors go.
Sweet.
This episode is sponsored by Burr Bottles. Dive into the world of Burr Bottles at burrbottles.com and witness the fusion of style and sustainability. Make your hydration count. Use code FURBUR for 25% off your order. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. We are back. During that break, I was corrected. 670K. Yep. 670,000 followers.
Creeping up on 1 million. Hopefully soon.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, that's a big accomplishment. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's no joke. For people that are in this biz, that is no joke. Yeah, so I met you through Bill Hanslick. We actually ended up chatting, finding out a little bit more what you do, really.
Yep.
And it was you. So back me up. How did you get started in all this? How did you get there?
So
take me from there to now.
So it started when I was a kid. Just from basketball.
You are a kid. What are you talking about?
Nah.
Shoot. I'm like an old grandpa compared to you.
No, you're hanging in there, man. But no, it started, as a kid, I've loved basketball. It was my favorite sport. It was always my dream. And, starting in the 3rd grade, I played a bunch of sports, but basketball really took it for me. And it was the most fun. And I knew kind of at an early age that I was good at basketball. So I stuck with it, and kind of over time, I was like, okay, there is this dream that's possible. And a ton about dreams and stuff like that. So like it started very young, but I knew it was something could be made of this. And so that's kind of the eyes were professionally since 6th grade. I want to play in the NBA. That's always been the goal. So trained that way pretty much my whole life, even after, high school and stuff like that. With this dream that I had, I was always trying to pursue it. And it kind of, okay, I have these plans to go pro, so let's find out how. And once I realized, okay, that's not feasible at this moment in time, I was training for it. I was seeing Steve Hess, which, huge deal with the Nuggets for 30 years, strength and conditioning coach. So he was helping me see that dream along. And I went through some injuries and stuff like that kind of set me back. But during that hiatus is when social media started really, really bouncing off. And coming from my end, I didn't, Vine. Mm-hmm. Like Vine was my thing growing up. So I didn't want, when I heard of TikTok, I was like, no, I'm a Vine guy, right? Like, right. I'm riding with that. And one of my buddies during that hiatus, Sheldon, which you've met, and, Zach was a big part of that too, kind of telling me like, hey, you need to put this somewhere. Like you're jumping over 6'5" human beings dunking a basketball, and people need to see this. And this is kind of that hiatus where social media is blowing up. So take advantage of it. And I was like, no way. Like, I'm just not doing it. And that's when I met Sheldon at that time, who has 2 sisters who blew up on TikTok and millions of views. And he was like, look, it is a thing. You can do this. So I dunked over Zach. And
your buddy Zach is no small guy.
Yeah. 6'4", sturdy, like big boy. So right. When I jumped over him, it was just so, like, the entire situation of me jumping over him, like, I'm mind blown. He's mind blown. We're capturing this on camera, and Zach's like, you have to post this. And I was like, no, not doing it. Go Vine. And he posted it 5 million overnight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. I still was not 100% sold from my end, but I was like, this is a thing. But think about it, man. At that time, we don't even understand what 5 million views means. Like, that's a hard number to comprehend.
Yeah.
And so it seemed cool, but I'm just seeing it on my phone. I don't really know the impact that it's touching.
Right.
Yeah.
All you see is
5
M. Right?
Yeah.
That M. Yeah. Like,
wow. You don't even know what it feels like and what it really is. And so I flew out to Los Angeles, and Sheldon let me stay with him. And I remember in this very small, close quarters place that he had. And he was like, look, let's see, like, try all this out. See what this all looks like. I had 230 TikTok followers at this point. And he was like, just see what it can be. And he got a couple actors out there that younger guys. One of them was 6'7", and then 2 of them were pretty, not small, but 5'6", 5'7", and we put all 3 of them lined up. And I was like, I'm gonna jump over you guys, and you guys can post it. And they're like, yeah, for sure. So jumped over them a couple of times, cleared all 3. It was outside on a random hoop, like a school. And they posted it, and each of them 1 million. And that was like, that sold me. I was like, okay, this is something that people will want to see, and I want to take advantage of that. So that was kind of how it all started, just trying to feel out this TikTok game.
Yeah. And it was interesting when I took you to a Nuggets game, and we were doing some stuff, and I'll tell you, we'll talk about that in just a second, but I didn't know that people would actually know you. We took you to a game, and people were like, oh, hey, Austin, can I get a picture with you? Hey, right. Can I get you to sign this? was like, what? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know, it was early on in our friendship, and yeah, I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Right.
The reach, the interest, which, I mean, it's absolutely entertaining, and it absolutely takes some effort. But there's so many people out there that can't do that and think that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And I mean, you've been in the dunk game for years, for a long time, and you've never seen, it's hard to wrap your head around when you've seen people dunking for a long time, but it doesn't catch the traction over the longevity, and people trying on social media like that. So even my parents is a prime example. Like they don't even get it. They're like, how do you make a
Most
video?
parents don't get it.
Yeah. How do you make a video and it gets seen by that many people? And well, that's your job now, right? Like my dad has had 2 jobs since he was 13. Right. And he's like, how is you making a 20-second video your job, man? Like, but it ended up working out.
Yeah. Every kid wants to tell their parents that, you know, everybody wants to see their parents scratch their head over that. So next, you know, once we got to know each other, and I saw that what you could do and everything. Next, I saw you perform at Rock the Rim.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I've done this. It's a charity event, usually in South Dakota, in Kadoka, but we did not go there this time. We went to Sioux Falls.
Yep.
And there's a good friend of ours out there that has a charity, and she was reaching out to me for entertainment.
Yep.
And I said, you know, we can get some people from the Nuggets. We can, you know, this is a really, you know, worthy cause. Let's try and get the drum line out there. We've done that before. And thought, you know what, Austin might be a great fit.
Yeah. And this was kind of your trial with me, because
exactly.
you didn't really see it or know kind of what it looked like. And I remember you were like, hey, we're putting together this dunk team. And I was like, well, how am I going to fit in with the Tramps? Like, how are we going to put those 2 pieces together? Because I'm not going to jump off a Tramp. And I would like to do it this way where I'm jumping over people involved. So yeah, it was definitely a trial and error for us on that time. And we were just
a good testing ground of what we could do together.
Right.
Yeah. So we went out to Trevor's Legacy Foundation.
Yep.
Very, very worthy cause. If anybody
Great
wants to look that up.
too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so out there, they just put on a game. It was a CBA game.
Mm-hmm. Scrimmage, right?
Yeah. And we were just kind of messing around. There's a bunch of mascots, entertainment,
jugglers.
Yeah. One guy brought a trampoline out.
Huge tramp, too.
Yeah, he was doing flips with skis on and everything. But it was kind of fun. I was actually in another costume.
Oh yeah.
I think I can say this.
You're in the monkey suit.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Yep.
There's so many monkey suits out there.
Yes. And a lot of mascots from around the league, from around the NBA. And you on the way out there, you're like, I want to jump over Jeff.
Well, yeah, it was I honestly, I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, I also don't know what's going. You've kind of done this setup before. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm expecting. So I don't know how much time we're going to have and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, if you're going to be in the suit, I haven't jumped over anybody in a suit yet. And I also have never jumped over someone that's 6'10", but I looked at Jeff and everybody on the plane. I was like, I'm going to jump over Jeff. And you looked at me like, there's no way that you were jumping over this 6'10" dude.
And seriously, Jeff is so tall.
Yeah, huge.
I mean, and what's funny is he's actually got a personality around, that he's built up around the Nuggets and different places. He's become quite the celebrity with his height and his personality. Anyways, we were doing the show and everything, and then we took a break, and and you lined up. We had been doing some dunks.
Yep.
And then we paused that for a second and brought you out.
And we had the time to do it too. It wasn't they brought everybody out, and I was like, all right, Jeff, like we did it practice, right? I think we landed, we had an hour. We lost.
That's right.
We lost an entire mascot suit.
That's right.
Didn't show up.
Forgot about that one.
I think that was Frontier. We were flying Frontier, and we lost our suit. So, yeah, that was.
Oh, Frontier. Boo.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah, we ended up. I pulled him out, and I was like, all right, let's try this. And that was also my first time in like a huge arena. It wasn't fully packed, but it was still a big place, and they had a jumbotron, and we're on that, and it was a whole thing. So pulled them out, and made it.
The production was through the roof, and it was kind of like that. And that setting is it's entertainment with a basketball game on the side,
right?
Type of thing.
Yeah,
And so when you were doing your thing, the players were just falling out. They were just like, oh my gosh. They could not wrap their head around what they were seeing.
Yeah.
How tall Jeff is and how you were going over him.
The reason why the brand done so well, I'm wearing these glasses. I'm wearing some like beat up sweatpants, and just don't look like I'm about to go out there and do that. My hair's not done. Like it was, it played the perfect role.
Yeah.
That it just didn't line.
And that's kind of your thing.
Yeah.
If when you look at Austin here, if you're just listening to this, find the video here, but look at Austin. He does not look like, and that's kind of his thing. He's leaned into this. He wears glasses. He's a tall, just humble looking white guy, if I can say that.
Yeah. It is.
It's just, unassuming is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And because his hops are just incredible. So, you did one and you missed, right?
I missed the first one. Yeah, we went with two hands, and I was like, well, I don't know why that happened, but let's run it back. And we went and made the second one, and people.
I think I jumped in on.
We dunked again.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You
Yep.
did Jeff, and then then some mascots.
Yep, some mascots that you were in.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I was the little guy in front.
Yeah, the players. It's just they can't do it. I mean, some of them definitely can, but they've never even tried it. They're like, what is going on? And they're 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
And I'm not a small guy, but in basketball, especially in dunking, 6'3", 6'4" is not that big, especially being a white guy in the sport. So it's not. It always blows people's mind. That's what white men can't jump. That's the whole stigma. So
right. Well, it plays well for you. I love it. So that was a huge success, and we had a lot of fun with that. And after that, we talked about maybe getting you on an NBA court.
Yeah. Well, you said something when we were at that G League thing. You were like, because we were trying to put together this team, and you go, that's a show itself. You literally said it. You're like, that's its own thing. Like you could just do an entire thing like that, and we should try to do it with the Nuggets. And so obviously I'm all for it. Like I was looking so forward to it, and it was crossing my mind, hey, how do we take this to the bigger scale? And I think that was the plan with the dunk team, right? Is have us doing it with the Nuggets and off the tramps and stuff like that. So it was, how are we going to mix these two? But yeah.
Yeah. So we arranged a game where you came plain clothes.
Yep.
Sitting in the stands, and Rocky went out there, did a dunk, and then the bit was, hey, I need a volunteer.
Right. And
you're like, yeah, and you were kind of sitting behind the hoop, so it was, in eye shot basically, right. and you're like, yeah, I'd do that. You kind of stood up like, I volunteer for that.
Yep.
Rocky picks you.
Yep.
You come out. He dunks over you.
Yep.
And then quickly, as that is wrapping up, you're like, whoa, wait. And Like, wait, can I want to go over you.
A little bit of acting.
Yeah, a little bit of acting there. Rocky's like, wait, what?
Yep.
And so you put him out there. The trampoline and the mat were gone at this point. You put him out there holding the ball.
Yep.
And backed up, pumped up the crowd.
A little bit, yeah.
What was that
Sanders.
like?
Oh, man. One of my favorite stories to tell about this is, so in Ball Arena, they have a practice court. So we're able to go, me and you and Drake were able to go practice doing this. Mm-hmm. And this being my first time, don't even know what the atmosphere is. This was an ESPN game, TNT. It was to play for the first seed against Ja in Memphis, and sold out crowd. It was a huge game, and you've done this a million times. You know the magnitude. I have no idea what this even looks like. I don't even know what 20,000 people filled looks like, right?
When you're on the court, it is way different than sitting in the stands.
Oh.
I mean, you've seen 20,000 people. I mean, yeah, you've sat there.
Yeah.
But to be in front of them and all eyes on you, it is a whole different story.
Yep.
And the lighting and the sound, it does change things.
Yep. And I think you asked, hey, can you get my videographers, Tyler Voss and them, can they come out and record this intro? Yeah, let's do it. And that's when I decided, hey, I'm going to go see what's up. I haven't been out there yet. Like, I got in, saw warm-ups and stuff, but I haven't felt the magnitude of what's going on out there. And I was like, let me go get a glimpse of what this looks like. So I walked out with you guys, and I'm standing there in this. We just came from warming up. Everybody keep that in mind. I'm sweating. And I'm standing there, and they're doing intros for the players. The flames are going off. The ground is shaking beneath me. And I'm ice cold. Like, my hands and feet are freezing. And I was just warming up, like I was sweating. And it was so nerve-wracking just prior to even being out there. And so after that intro, I told myself in my career, I'm never coming back out. I'm going to warm up the whole time. Because we try to shoot for the first or second time out. I'm going to just stay back there. I'm never going out and seeing what that looks like until I get out there.
You set boundaries for yourself
right
there. I love it. Well, then as you went and took the ball out of Rocky's hands, dunked over him and slammed it and everything, what was that like?
That was just, I blacked out, and I've never really blacked out in a scenario like that. When I was fine until I set the ball on Rocky's head. And I walked back like I can't see it. I don't remember me walking back. I was so nervous. And then I pumped up the crowd, and also didn't know the magnitude then of what the crowd really looks like. And after I dunk it, I go run up, dunk, and there's this one girl sitting courtside that is in disbelief, jaw to the floor. You could see it in every video. I looked right at her first, and I was like, okay, magnitude, right? Like, now I'm going to look around and see what this all looks like. And it was just, it's something that you dream of.
Take it in. Yeah. You got to look around you got to pause
for a second,
just go, that just happened.
Yeah. It was a dream come true. And
and the crowd went nuts. They were just like, what?
They didn't believe it.
I mean, it was a cross between a cheer and a whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the best parts about it was they had this little cutoff between how it's going to be perceived and how it's actually going to go because of what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Like, no one had an idea. I guarantee when I'm pulling back after I set it on him that no one knows that I'm going to jump over this guy. Like, I think we said it out loud, but where's the tramp? Like, even on my YouTube videos, the comments under it is like, where'd the tramp go? Like, weren't you supposed to use the tramp? Like, it was so, no one's ever seen it before. That was the best part about it, is no one's really seen that on that stage in that way.
Yeah. That was new and unexpected.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you went and sat down. Well, the next time out I thought was really a special moment when the announcer said, he goes, ladies and gentlemen, we did a little Google search.
Yeah.
And come to find out, that guy is Austin Fritts.
Professional dunker, dives into the whole thing and announces, hey, this is actually what this was. You know, hometown kid, I'm from here. They announced that. And it was just a heartwarming, you know, amazing feeling to go through something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun.
Great time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. Doing it for the first time, nothing will ever feel that way. And when we did Boston and stuff like that, the video magnitude's not even the same. Great video, all that. But every time I go back and watch the Nuggets one, it almost brings me to tears, like every single time, because it was just such a big moment.
Yeah, and pure.
Yeah.
You know, it was just pure. It was just, yeah. So, talking about Boston, from there we started this little quest together to let's get you on other courts.
Let's take this around the league.
Yeah. So, we got you to Boston happened. That was the next one. And when you're in Boston, you didn't get a chance to do anything there, did you?
No, nothing.
No.
Yeah, it was just a quick fly in, fly out.
Yeah.
No, it was bigger. It was bigger and better in some senses. Like 4-day trip, kind of. I changed my perspective. Okay, with this social media thing, yeah, let's do this dunking, but let's take it in a broader spectrum for my audience to dive into the NBA differently.
Okay, let me pause you right there.
Yep.
With this thing with Rocky, how many views did that get?
About 80 million.
Just 80 million?
Yeah. Once again, super hard number to wrap your head around until you like start putting it into a calculator. Right? 80 million's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So you go to Boston and you're like, you know what? I want to take this up a level. And I got to say this about Austin at this point. What I know at this point from Austin in the story is that, man, he thinks big. He's like, if I'm going into Boston, how big can we make this?
Yep.
How big can we go? And that's, I mean, we talk about this on this podcast all the time, pushing the limits.
Yep.
What can we get away with?
Right.
Right? What can we talk others into?
Mm-hmm.
What can we accomplish? How big can we make this?
Yep. What can we make everybody else believe too?
Right.
Like, because I know what we believe, what we're seeing, and you're like-minded. You've done it your whole career. I mean, I've seen you do things in your career that I can't even fathom, but swinging around, but yeah.
But that starts with a thought.
Yeah.
It starts with, I bet I could do this.
Mm-hmm. And that's going right back to the Jeff thing. I didn't know. I have no idea. Let's just do it and try it, you know?
Yeah. And if you don't, you never know.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Sit there and wonder the rest of your life.
Right.
But yeah, Austin thinks big, likes to, you know, and is able to network.
Yeah.
And
it's the biggest part.
Oh man, that's a huge part of anything.
Yeah.
Getting anywhere in life is that networking and making friends and introducing and introducing yourself and things like that. So you end up going out to Boston, 4-day trip.
Yep.
And it starts how?
Yeah, so we land and we get in and they put us in a hotel that's directly across from TD Garden. And so I got to literally open up my window and I'm looking at the arena, and it's one of those things, right? You just can't really put together. And what I kind of wanted to do with this and what kind of our plan was to start wrapping around, okay, we also want, if we're touching 80 million people, like there's a lot of them that want to know more about the NBA and more about Boston and stuff like that. And I want to be able, I have a following from the back end rather than having Boston or the Nuggets they capture all the stuff, players related, game related, but what's the arena like? I've never been in TD Garden, so I want to be able to tell other people what it's like in there. And so we kind of did this tour around their practice facilities, and that was kind of the first day, capturing content around the practice facility there in Boston and having practice with the dunk team, because their dunk team is great. They do a lot of cool stuff. So watched that happen. Got a tour of 18 banners, 17, but they had an 18th that was blank. And 18, 17.
Yeah.
We got one, baby.
We got one.
We got one at the right time. But man, like that's a hard thing to fathom, especially over all those years of grind. So got to experience that. And then next day was capturing TD Garden and what it all looks like. And I remember walking in and they had this welcome to Boston, Austin in the entire arena when I go to practice. And that, my dad was there. He got
sounds
to
like that could be
it.
a really cool chant.
I know. We should have had him doing it when we were there.
Welcome to Austin, Boston. No, welcome to Boston, Austin. Goes either way. All right.
Yeah. So, and it was the in-season tournament. So different court, right?
Oh, yeah.
They switched
that's right.
up the courts, and which was a good and bad thing in my head because I did want the original Boston court. What's it called?
It's the
the P.
Yeah. It's like
Parquet.
I was going to say parkour.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. That's what Boston is, right? When you
iconic.
think of it. So I definitely wanted to do it on there, but that in-season court was so cool, man. And it was another one of those games, ESPN, televised, very big game for Boston. And it was for them to get, I think, into Vegas for the in-season tournament.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep. So it was a big game, and that was same day as shooting kind of the arena tour. So we went around and we talked to Kit because he's a faceless mascot, which you never see anywhere. Had some interviews with him and captured some content, and then kind of got to chill a little bit until it was game time. So did a lot of the same thing. That's kind of where it looked very similar with the Nuggets, kind of that same route. And I'm sure in your career, consistency. So finding, okay, yeah, this looks a little bit different, but keeping the routine right, stuff like that. From game time to game finish, I wanted it to kind of look similar to the Nuggets. And so that's kind of how that started. And we did those intros, talking to the players at the beginning, trying to stay anonymous. And in that scene, it's a little easier to stay anonymous because, it's not slam packed and people are way more focused on the players that are out there. So,
right.
Then it was game time. So went back. They don't have an arena or a court inside their arena. They don't have a practice court. So it was warming up in the back and landing on mat instead of the concrete over and over again. But they have it's just huge. Like that, it's a huge arena. And so they have a lot of space in the back end, so we're warming up through there. And I think it was the first time out of the second quarter where the Nuggets was...
No, first quarter break. So at the end of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter.
Yep.
Was it? No, it wasn't.
No, or was it a timeout?
It was a timeout because that's been the plan.
Oh. You're right. So it was. Yeah, no, it was.
I think it was around 7 minutes.
Yeah, first time out of the second quarter.
Oh, was it?
I
think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the main goal was, and that's why we discussed halftimes. And you were like, well, I want to do this during a halftime. I was like, this is must-see TV. We want to make sure that everybody is in their seats.
Yeah.
So that's why we picked timeouts because, and that's another why we think this is so successful and why it's been so successful is because I'm doing a basketball related action during a basketball game. Like that's why they paid tickets is to watch basketball. So it's a lot. I think it touches.
So synonymous.
Yeah. It touches home more than, like a juggling act during that time and stuff like that. People really can relate because that's what they paid to come see is basketball stuff. So, but going back to Boston, they brought me out and it wasn't the same. It wasn't like a placement. How we did it was I was already in the stands and they pulled me out. And he was like, Boston and Kit was like, well, let's make it, we already found you. I already picked you out, so we'll bring you out. And brought me out, and that was kind of the same situation with the nuggets was, okay, I'm not focusing on anything. I don't really hear what they're saying on this intercom. It's what we've done in my head. So just kind of slowly going through that process without like, okay, how big is this place? How many people are here? It's really green in here. Haven't seen that before. And you know, Boston.
That's a distraction right there.
Yeah, Boston fans, they love their city.
Oh,
like
diehard.
Yeah, diehards. So, brought me out, and yeah, we did the same thing, and it was once again just something that you can't necessarily put in words because it's never been done before. Like, it's so different than what everybody else is seeing, and it's always nice to, like, I ran this through my head so many times on how this is all going to look, and it's awesome when you actually get out there and it looks the same. It looks different, but still the same.
Yeah. Love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Especially how you put it together.
Right. Well, that was a huge success, and the access that you had kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
They kind of rolled out the red carpet for you out there.
Yep. And I think that some teams understand social media, some teams don't. They're not, it's new. And some teams are still trying to figure that out. And Boston definitely knew, hey, we've done this before. We've done influencer work, and we kind of know what they need, what they're looking for, what's good, what's bad, stuff like that.
Yeah. And every team, they're bringing influencers in. They want that reach. But what's great about what you're doing is that it's basketball.
It aligns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody bringing in basketball influencers.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
They're
agreed.
all wearing some shorts and some wigs or some colors or some carrying something or
yeah.
I don't know, some kind of clown show.
Yep.
Well, so you did that one. I want to back up to Western Conference Finals.
Oh, yeah.
Man. So that one we kind of did in a dunk setting, typical dunk show setting, where we rolled out the trampoline and guys were dunking and everything. And then you were going to go over Rocky at the end there. And timing and everything, placement was a little tough.
Yeah. It was something we've never done before.
Yeah.
And this is where, your mind came into play. I have this dream. I have this goal. I have this idea. You know what it looks like. So, but we've never put this together before. And that's one of the things that I always can't fathom, is that you have ideas that get put like on the front stage right away. Like, that was an idea, dunk team plus me. Let's throw it in there on a big, humongous stage with the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. There was a lot going on there, a lot of moving parts. And that one you missed.
Yep.
And
it was a whole different environment.
Yeah.
It was, everybody thought we were done. Like, once we took the dunk team off, it wasn't the same. I put my hands up and no one was there. I was like, there was no one responding. And
we learned a lesson on that one.
Yeah, 100%.
Either start with you, but probably just don't do the dunk team. Separate those.
Let's just put them in two different timeouts.
Yeah.
Is what it will be. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got, the season is wrapping up all over, but you've got other teams though that are looking at flying you in.
Yeah.
And
doing the same thing.
For next season, doing the same thing.
Yep.
You've come up with some different scenarios and things like that. If you would, to do, as you continue with this, you are going to make it fresh. We've talked about that. You're going to keep it fresh.
Yep. Because
every arena is different. Every mascot's different. And the fans are different everywhere.
Right.
So, what I think you did really special in Boston was you got behind the scenes.
Yep.
And were able to pull that curtain back a little bit for a crowd that is, first of all, very invested in basketball.
Yeah.
But probably obviously isn't going to be at the game.
Right.
You know, a lot are, but I mean, most of your audience is worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide.
And would never have that chance. And if they do get to see it behind the scenes, it's a staged, it's a some reporter there
Right.
for ESPN or TNT or whatever.
Yep.
And they're doing the scripted little interview.
And they're not breaking it down like on how long was TD Garden here? How many championships are really? I'm 26 years old. I've been following my basketball my whole life. I didn't know 17 was the actual number. Like if somebody asked me that prior, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
And
I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just something it's information that people would love to know, but they don't get it all the time. And so it's finding these behind the scenes things that I know people want to hear about because I would. And I've loved basketball my whole life.
Yeah. You were at the All-Star game this year?
Wow. That was So for you guys that don't know, I did the rehearsals for the dunk contest, 3-point contest, skills comp, which I didn't even know really what it was. And they're trying this new thing with a court. Like it's an all LED court. So there's 2 different courts at All-Star. You had the All-Star game court where they're doing, where LeBron's playing all the main players. And then where they're doing all this skills stuff was on this LED court that changes colors and is reactive to the things going on. And I was able to do the rehearsals for that. And it was in another crazy part. And there was no one there for these rehearsals, but it was in Lucas Oil. So it seats like 65, 70,000 people. And that's a difference.
Kind of daunting. I mean,
you're looking up for a long time. It's a huge, huge arena.
Wow. Well, I mean, and how special is that? And again, you networked there. You were also you were hanging out
KD. Dwayne Wade, like the biggest names, Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, you were right there with all these people. That's not even mentioning the top brass of Instagram.
Right. Oh yeah, hanging out with Meta. They had a suite there, and I met them at the in-season tournament too. So, it was just an overall experience to the highest T that you could be, kind of in my realm of content creation and dunking and stuff like that. And hanging out with Meta was a great time too.
Wow, what a bunch of doors those are, right?
Oh yeah.
And what I can't wrap my head around is how you have gotten in with these people to be on the forefront, which we won't get into right here, but you've shared a little bit of what you're involved in with them that is up and coming, and you're on the forefront of some real big things coming.
Yeah.
And how can people find you?
My handle on Instagram is Austin Fritts, Fritts 1. Same with TikTok. It's pretty much all across the board, but Instagram is definitely taking the ropes right now. So, especially longevity wise, you're hearing about this TikTok ban, yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just saw a pop up on my TikTok that said, was like,
did it say just goodbye?
No, it actually I didn't believe, yes, I know this ban is a thing, but it's hard to wrap your head around. And then it gives me like a pop-up saying who's our mayor? I can't remember his name.
The mayor.
The mayor. Let's just go with the mayor.
And the governor.
It was saying, have your mayor not vote on this because we don't want TikTok banned. Try to give them a story of how it's changed and for you, what you use it for and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is the real deal. Which is, being a creator, one of the biggest things you can do is branch out. Don't be one-sided. And this is nothing that I've ever experienced. They took Vine away, so it is something that they can do. And what happens with that? So building your audience outwards of everything is an important decision. But that TikTok ban is that's where I started. Like that has built, I know so many people through TikTok that have, prime example, there's this girl that I met. She's an artist out in LA, and she just made a trend with this wooden spoon, and she was like singing
over here laughing.
It's just crazy the things you see on TikTok.
Yeah. She was singing. She's an artist, so she was singing into this wooden spoon, and like duet is a thing on TikTok. So she would have the spoon and have somebody else do it. Well, it blew up crazy. She dropped the song that she sang with the wooden spoon, created an entire career out of it. Rod Wave, a very big rap artist, repurposed the song, had her on it, and then brought her on tour last year.
Oh my gosh.
That's all from posting video. That's all from 5M. Remember? Just a little
M.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy that they want to take it away. I don't understand it. I do from like a younger perspective. Yes, it could do this, that, and the third, and the longevity to younger people, but there's a lot of things in the world that are way worse than that we haven't taken care of.
Yeah. Well, and then you've also done some stuff with Snapchat and Meta and
just keeps going. Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
Facebook.
And
Oh
Facebook's
my gosh.
huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I don't put in perspective all the time is that's where I started. That's where we all started. Facebook. Yeah. I mean, some of us started on MySpace. Did you have a MySpace?
I did not. I didn't. I didn't. I think I actually set one up, but never.
Yeah.
Like, I think I just signed up for it, and then I was like, what is this? I don't know.
That was back in the day where we had flip phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have one. What are you talking about?
Do you?
Just kidding.
Hey, if you know how to use your iPhone, good job. My dad doesn't.
Oh, man. It's a good thing I got Cade over here.
Yeah, tech wizard.
Jeez. Had to set me up on a Zoom last night on my phone.
Really?
Yeah. So, Austin, I'm gonna wrap it up here, but I appreciate you coming on, man. One thing that you could just briefly advise anybody that's wanting to get into, being an influencer or being an entertainer or, being an entertainer that wants to be an influencer. Mm-hmm. I mean, so many mascots in the NBA, are trying to, even with the resources of their team, still struggle with building that brand.
Yeah.
Their mascot brand. And some are inhibited by their team. But anyways, ridiculous. Words of wisdom from Austin right here.
Right. I would just say the biggest thing from a social media perspective is you have to stay consistent. Not really caring too much. And I've done this a ton in my career of being an influencer and still do it. And it's just a bad habit of having is just get the content out. Like, no matter what you think other people are going to think of it, just push it out because it changed my life. But it's also something that if you stay consistent, the algorithms will pick you up. And Mr. B says it really well. Not your first video is going to do well. Probably your first 100 videos are not going to do well. But if you can push through that and continue to learn over that time to make good content and what Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat want to see, it'll pick it up eventually. You just have to keep pushing through.
Nice.
Another big piece of advice is taking advantage of the people that you meet and
take them for everything.
That's not what I meant to say.
That's my philosophy.
Take advantage of the opportunities you get when you meet people. Like, have those conversations. People are so afraid to just have a conversation with people nowadays, especially where the world's looking is everything's, turn your head, look forward. And there's a lot of great people out there that you can have conversations with, that have wisdom and knowledge and just talk with people. That's another big thing that people struggle with nowadays is having those conversations and be open-minded.
Yeah. And for people my age, That's all we did was talk when
Yeah.
we were your age to people.
Yeah.
I'm always saying, well, jump on the call. Call them.
Yep.
Wait, call them? People respond to me with, wait, talk?
Yeah. Why aren't we texting?
Why aren't we texting?
Yeah.
I mean, I could send an email, I guess, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
email. Yeah.
no, just,
Pick up the phone.
yeah,
And
dial
we
that.
do that all the time.
I know,
Like,
just talk.
I don't think
And-
we
and-
text.
No, and I'll tell you what, the thing is that, when you find people that are on the same level you are or above you a little bit, I mean, that's kind of the thing, is you want to level up all the time, whether it be personally, professionally,
Yep.
spiritually, whatever it is. Having the conversations, talking with people builds first of all, a relationship, and then brainstorming from there.
Yep.
I'm bouncing stuff off of you all the time. You're bouncing stuff off of
Right.
me all the time. Man, hopefully we're helping each other, and sometimes some real magic happens.
Yeah. 100%. And going back to all that is, if without you and our conversations and stuff like this, my career would look totally different. Like, you are a huge help and stepping stone into helping broaden my horizon. Once I met you and the things that you've accomplished and told me the stories that you've done, I was like, okay, things are bigger than they could be. How do we take this left, right in the, and you helped. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Oh yeah, we could do this. You helped me throughout that. So one, I appreciate you for that. Helping broaden my horizons, and also see that in this life, there's people that click and they have great ambition and ideas, and teaming those people up together can be huge for both parties, and also create lifelong friendships.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for all that you've done for me.
All right, man.
Yeah.
We're just getting started, baby.
Right on, right on.
We're just getting started.
I love it. Well, hey, thanks for being on. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate your friendship. Keep
Thanks
doing
for
what you
having
do,
me,
man.
Yep.
Yeah, keep it on,
Appreciate
keep it
you.
on.
Left it to the bank like.
Thank you for listening. If you would like your friends and family to know what is between the fur, please share. See you next time on Between the Fur.
I got anything.